Welcome back to the next section of Traefik Training. In this section, we're going to cover the traffic background. In the traffic background, we're going to cover everything there is to know about why Traefik was built and what problems it was solving. Additionally, we're going to find out the key features around Traefik, what is an edge router, we're going to find out what that is, and finally, the magic sauce within Traefik, which is auto discovery. Let's have a look and see why Traefik was developed. So back in 2015, Emile created Traefik. And at the time, there was a lot of reverse proxies already on the market. And people question, why should we create yet another proxy? Well, the answer is real easy, because microservices are dynamic in nature, which means they're constantly coming and going. And traditional proxies are not so dynamic. And the issue there was that much of the configuration was static, which means you had to manage all the IP access to the backends. You always had to update the proxy when you change your application. So you spent a lot of time managing your proxy configuration, almost as much time as you are developing the features inside your application. So this became very heavy as far as responsibility for developers and infrastructure people that had to manage this proxy. So Emile created Traefik, and Traefik brings a lot of value because Traefik actually watches the orchestrator. So Docker, Docker Swarm, Kubernetes, Nomad, Mesos, insert orchestrator here. And what it does is Traefik watches the orchestrator for events. And what do I mean by an event? An event is something like a new container starts. Traefik goes, aha, there is a new container. Now I know I need to register this container, get all this configuration from this container so I understand everything about it automatically, and then I can route the requests that are coming in to this new container. This is all done automatically. Now compare that to previous. Now every time I start an application, I'd have to manually adjust all the configuration in my proxy and constantly keep it in line with the application. Now Traefik handles this all automatically. The Traefik background. So, Traefik itself was written in Go, which is, a very low level language. Docker was written in Go, Kubernetes, and also Traefik, which means it's also a very small binary, which enables Traefik to remain very lightweight and small, which keeps the container size small as well. Traefik is also an edge router, and I'll explain that in the next section. Traefik also does automatic discovery service of configurations. What that means is when a container starts, it automatically pulls all this configuration data into Traefik, so it knows everything there is to know about the new service. Traefik also has native integrations with Amazon, Kubernetes, Docker, Mesos, HashiCorp, Nomad, and. You could even do file level integration, bare metal. I mean, you just name it. There's a lot of configuration integrations and is constantly growing. And Traefik automatically synchronizes configurations. As I mentioned, we're pulling the configuration directly from the container when it starts, and we're doing this in real time. So when a container starts, we're pulling the configuration, we're adjusting the routes within Traefik, and then when a new request comes in, we're routing it to a new service, all without restarts, all without downtime. Just amazing. So as I mentioned, Traefik is also an edge router. So what is an edge router? I would like to say an edge router is like a door person, somebody answering the door. They are the middle person between the outside world and your infrastructure. So in the diagram, you can see we have an incoming request. Traefik then asks the request, hey, are you allowed to come in? Yes or no? When yes, then where would you like to go? I would like to go to service number 1. So it's actually handling the ingress to your infrastructure. And we think of that like a door person, like I said. So, if somebody comes to your door, you open the door. Who are you? Oh, you're such and such. I know you. You can go to room number 1. Same thing for a web request. So you think of it as the door person to your infrastructure. It's handling all the ingress traffic, all the incoming requests, and it's determining right away if this request is allowed. If it is allowed, where should it be routed to? And then once the request is accepted into Traefik, Traefik takes this request and it routes the requests. And that's where we can start defining logic within Traefik. And we can determine, For example, if it has a certain path in the request, we know, hey, this path goes to service 2. This path goes to service 3. These are example configurations we can do when we receive a request. Additionally, we can also pass host and header information in the request to the service, and we know how to route it as well. And we'll cover that in later sections. And finally, how does auto discovery work? This is really the magic sauce of Traefik. Again, Traefik pulls the configuration directly from a service when it starts, and then Traefik has this information loaded in, and it knows right away when there's a request coming in that it should go to, for example, service 1. And it does this automatically, so we don't have to do anything. Now we can actually start defining some rules in Traefik saying, hey, if a service starts and it matches this domain name, then it should go to service 1. If it matches domain name second, should go to this service. And we can start making very simple rules that allows us to configure Traefik to accept requests and then route them accordingly. Quite simple. So the containers can come and go as much as they want, or we can have multiple instances, and Traefik then routes the traffic to the correct service automatically. Again, we don't have to do anything configuration wise. It does this in real time with no downtime. So that's really the magic behind Traefik, is the auto discovery.